Today is a very special day, Srimati Krishnamoyi Devi's appearance day, and also our Kolkata Sri Chaitanya Gauriya Math, Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Nayananath's appearance day today. Parang Gurudev installed. That was in Calcutta. It was our first math, Chaitanya Gauriya Math, but before it was in Rasbihari Avenue, not far from where it is now. There Parang Gurudev installed Radha Nayananath, but small Vijay Vigraha. Then when this new place was constructed, then they took those old smaller deities and also this big one were installed on today's day. It is also Krishna Pusya Abhishek Yatra, where when Krishna is bathed by flowers. That is one festival in Vrindavan. So on today's day and Purnima, so very auspicious day, there was a big festival on that day in our Kolkata Math, and from that time on there is yearly annual festival, like 5 days program, Harikatha, and many devotees are coming and many distinguished guests, and there is Nagar Sankirtan, and today is a big Abhishek and also offering and prasad distribution. To this festival, Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Gosai Maharaj would come every year till he was able to come by the invitation of our Parang Gurudev, because they are intimately connected. During the time of Prabhupada, they would preach together in the same preaching party in South India and also in Mumbai and so many places. So they were very intimate. So Parang Gurudev used to invite, means he used to request Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Gosai Maharaj to come to this festival to speak Harikatha. And he would say in this way that if people will not get association of sadhu, then how they will be rescued? So you have to come. Although Parang Gurudev was already at that time Acharya and big mission and so many disciples, but he would request him in this way, that you have to come, otherwise people cannot be rescued. By the grace of sadhu, they can be rescued. And our Parang Gurudev used to every year after Gaur Purnima, that Navadip Dham Parikrama, at that time he would visit Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Gosai Maharaj after that festival. After Jagannath Utsav on next day, then and all other God brothers, also those who were there, they had these yearly meetings. So today also is the appearance day of Srimati Krishnamoyi Devi. She is a disciple of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So she appeared in Nagpur, but her family then, father and mother, they moved to one part in Navadip, on that side where Navadip city is there. And then she was also married and got one daughter, but then her husband died. She was a widow, but she also adopted one son and she was taking care of them. And also she would daily go to Ganga Devi to take bath. So while going, she would always change the route so that she could also hear Harikatha from Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Gosai Maharaj. After the disappearance of Prabhupada, Srila Sridhar Maharaj would stay in Bagbazar Gauriya Math for some time. Then, after some time, he, due to those lila, he left and wanted to do solitary bhajan in Navadip. It is the most merciful place, and he also wanted to stay in that Koladvip, which is Govardhan of Vrindavan, and where all offenses were forgiven by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sridhar Maharaj thought, in that place I would stay, because in Brajadham also Prabhupada told this, that Radha Kunda is the highest place. So our gurus, they may stay there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gorkishore Das Babaji, they may stay, they're qualified. But I am not qualified to stay there. But I should stay near, because when they will need my service, then I will be near and I can attend to that service. But I cannot stay there. I am not qualified. So I can stay at Govardhan. So Sridhar Maharaj also expressed this, that I will stay Navadip in Govardhan, and also place where offenses are forgiven. But first he went to Ekachakra Dham to pray the grace of Nityananda Prabhu. He is most merciful. Only by his grace one can stay in Navadip Dham. So Sridhar Maharaj went there and he bowed down to Nityananda Prabhu and praying for his grace. While bowing down, he felt Nityananda is telling him, "You want my grace, but you are not ready to distribute it. So how you can get my grace? My grace is such that it has to be distributed." So Sridhar Maharaj was surprised, and then again he offered Dandavat, again praying for grace, the same message came. And then third time also, 3 times same message. Then Sridhar Maharaj understood that Nityananda Prabhu is not giving me permission that I should only do my solitary bhajan, not being engaged in preaching and taking disciples and all what is involved. That is his message. So then Sridhar Maharaj said, then I decided, I changed my mind, okay, I will do, but in a modest way. So he came to Navadip and he rented one place, small place, and was doing bhajan. And one 2-room place. And he would cook himself one time. And he said during daytime I would read Shastra and explain Shastra. He would give Bhagavatam classes to local men. And when the evening came, then I would chant. Because in the evening you cannot see, it is dark, no electricity for everyone. So he said that time I could chant, but during daytime when there is light, I would read and explain Shastra. So in this way he was doing. Then no one knew where he was, but all were missing him. So Sakhi Charan Das Babaji Maharaj was searching for him, and somehow by inquiring from people describing him, they led him to him. So he found him in Navadip, and he then said, "It is good, but you need your own place. So I will buy a place for you. You please accept this." Because that was his service. Sakhi Charan Das Babaji Maharaj also for Jogapit, he gave money, and for Bhakti Vijay Bhavan, that Bhajan Kutir of Prabhupada, that was his service. He was very rich before. So he bought that land for Sridhar Maharaj, and there Sridhar Maharaj also had 1 or 2 rooms and 1 floor, and he would speak Harikatha. So at that time, when Srimati Krishnamoyi Devi, she was going to take bath in Ganga, then she would go there and listen Harikatha. So in this way, then she took Harinam from him, and when later, when her adopted son became old enough to have job and her daughter was married, then immediately she decided that all her property, and it was not little thing, also land and so many things, she told to them that you will not inherit anything. I am taking everything and I am offering to my Gurudev. So she gave a large donation, and through that donation and that land, they were growing vegetables and all these things. Then slowly that Sri Chaitanya Saraswat, Gauriya Mat, began to take shape. And also she was there when Srila Sridhar Maharaj ordered deities from Jaipur. Our Parangurudev also would always take from Jaipur. So she was going with Srila Govinda Maharaj to take those deities from Jaipur, and then it was Srila Sridhar Maharaj and our Parangurudev. He invited him. They were there to install the deities. So after the deities were installed, Shri Shri Guru Gauranga, Gandharva, Govinda Sundaram, Govinda Sundar deities there in Navadip, you can see. Then they were also dancing after installation. There was a big offering and they would dance, Sridhar Maharaj and our Parangurudev, in front of the deities. They would sing and dance. So Krishnamoyi at that time, when seeing this, suddenly she got that spiritual vision, and she saw it is like Gaur and Nityananda there dancing here, non-different. She got that spiritual vision. So when she offered everything, then she would also stay in the mat and would do services, that is cooking for the deities and devotees, and also puja sometimes. And any other service was there necessary, she would always be there, and sometimes traveling with Sridhar Maharaj to some holy places. And she would also give donation, cover the cost of printing of SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, commented by Srila Sridhar Maharaj in Bangla. That was also translated later in English. The Hidden Treasure of the Sweet Absolute. You will find very unique commentary to those 4 shlokas. And also when Sridhar Maharaj was staying in Calcutta before, in one lane, and next neighbor was Srila Sai Maharaj, or same building, different floor, something, like they were very close living. So that time they would also discuss Shastra. So later on, Srila Sai Maharaj told that I would discuss about different meanings of Bhagavad Gita verses with him, very high realizations he had. So one disciple, Achyutananda, I think, he asked Sai Maharaj, then you please tell us some. Then Sai Maharaj told, if I would tell you his realizations on Bhagavad Gita shlokas, then you would faint. You are not able to bear that. You cannot digest that. So this Bhagavad Gita, she also, and Sridhar Maharaj wrote one song in praise of her, and doing all kinds of service. When Sridhar Maharaj would go somewhere, then she would be like in charge of the mat. not officially outside, because male society that Indian, so one brahmachari was there, but everything she was directing, all decisions and everything. So she's a pure devotee. That is why Srila Sridhar Maharaj told, you can give initiations also. Your service in this mat is only you have to stay here and bless those who come. That is your service. So she was also one of the trustees, original trustees of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and Sridhar Maharaj told they should take care of her. And then really our Parangurudev also told that she can give initiation because she's in that level of devotion. So here, 1 second to open. Our Parangurudev, there is one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnamoyi Krishna jar bhitore bahire, jaha jaha netra pore, taha Krishna spure. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Gosai Maharaj was so much impressed with her selfless devotion to Srila Guru Maharaj, means Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that he compared her name with the name of Radha Thakurani, whose other name was Krishnamoyi. He used to explain the meaning of her name thus, based on this verse. Krishnamoyi means one who always thinks of Krishna both within and without, who always remembers only Krishna wherever they go or whatever they see. Wherever they see that Krishna is, remembrance of Krishna is coming. So there is also her prana mantra. Devi Krishnamoyi Siddha Sadhika Para Bhaktida Sarva Bhakti Moyi Sarva Puja Puja Parayana Shri Guru Sneha Patricha Paramartha Prasadika Atma Nivedika Chaiva Guru Krishna Padambuje. Translation: deeply blessed with the divine qualities, Shri Krishnamoyi Devi has become an ideal example of a self-fulfilled saint, who is considered to be an embodiment of pure devotion to the Supreme Lord. Befitting to her benevolent nature, she also inspires and blesses others with the same sacred devotion to the Divine Lord. As a result of her dedicated service to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radhika Krishna, she received her Gurudeva's heartfelt appreciation, a priceless goal of life. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Gosai Maharaj, he declared or proclaimed her to be a Shuddha Bhakta, pure devotee of the Lord, and also after the disappearance of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, then his successor became Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj, being appointed by him. So after that, he was more in front in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So then there was some arrangement for Sri Krishnamoyi Devi to get her own place near there where she used to live before. One small mat is there. Now it is more and more developed. So there she was in charge, and deities were installed, and she would take disciples, lady disciples, also male disciples, and that is still going on. Today there was a big festival there, and they made some new prasadam hall, and here in this area, previously this area was well known to have followers of Tantric Yoga. They were very entrenched in their Tantric way of life. That is mostly in Tamaguna, they are doing some practices. At that time, she began to preach to them and converted them to Vaishnavism, which Srila Sridhar Maharaj greatly appreciated. Because not ordinary person, one who is awakened soul, one who has devotion, he can give to others, he can inspire others. When I was in 2002 in Mayapur, that time one Russian devotee, not initiated, her name was, I still remember, Masha, because this is also in Slovenia, one name, Masha. So that time she told me, I am thinking to get initiation either from your Gurudev or Srila Bhakti Kumud Shanta Gosai Maharaj or Krishnamoyi Devi. At that time, I first time heard about Krishnamoyi. At that time, she was still living in Navadip, just across the Ganga, but that time I did not get darshan. But I heard about her that time she was living. So this Masha, later, she took initiation from Srila Bhakti Kumud Shanta Gosai Maharaj. He's a disciple of Prabhupada. So Krishnamoyi Devi, you can also find some videos of her on YouTube, some interviews they made. So she showed that she is fully dedicated, fully surrendered. She gave all her property, what she had, she gave for the service of Guru and Krishna, and herself also. All the time she was serving with all her body, mind, speech, everything, fully surrendered, pure devotee. So I am remembering her. I saw some videos. I am bowing down to her and pray for her causeless mercy. We are hearing, and also Sri Guru Gauranga, Radha, Nayananath, they appear. That is mercy of Supreme Lord. He appears in this world in the form of deity to give us scope to serve Him and rescue ourselves. Because we are attached to this world and all articles and everything, we think it is for our enjoyment and we become attached and we suffer. But Krishna appears in this form as a deity to give us scope that we can serve Him with the articles of this world. Then in this way we can become detached from this wrong enjoying spirit and utilize everything for the service of Krishna, who is the actual owner and enjoyer of everything, and in that way we can be rescued. That is His mercy, and we can have darshan of Him, and so many services are there, and He is not complaining, not ordering, except for some exceptional devotees He may order, but generally deity worship is not so difficult as is dynamic lila of Krishna. Because deity, there is some scriptural standard how you should worship, Krishna told, and you do that in a regulated manner, and He's never saying anything and doing. You have to be careful about Seva Aparadas 33, and that is especially necessary for beginner devotees to offer all their articles and their senses and everything for the service of deity. In that way they can be rescued, and also for rich householders. And by this we can get surrender to Krishna through this practice of deity worship. Our surrender will be increased. We will understand that we are of Him, everything belongs to Him. So once one gets full surrender, then whatever he will do, that will be pure devotion. Because he will understand, I am of Krishna and he can do nothing else but the service of Krishna. At that time, it is not necessary anymore to do deity worship. He will do inside in Lila Seva like this. And for ascetics, those who have crossed over this material bondage, for them also deity worship is not necessary, but they may do to be example of others. As Gurudev told us, there is no need for sannyasis to do deity worship. But because deity worship was gradually being neglected and forgotten by the influence of foreign culture in India, previously in every house they would do some worship properly, but then gradually that became forgotten and simplified and not serious and like this. So Prabhupada made this in demand so that this deity worship system will be preserved as how people should see how it should be properly done, and they can assist. They will offer for the service of deity rice and other things, so that will be beneficial. Mahaprabhu also told to Goswamis, you should establish deity worship because it is necessary for that level of devotees to do this for advancement. Without deity worship, it is difficult for them to go. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his life and associates, that we have to see and you have to offer everything and take his prasad and all this, because we are in that level. So Prabhupada made this arrangement in all Gauriya Mats for deity worship, and even those who are in Ragamarg, as we read in Bhajan Rahasya of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they also do deity worship, but not with awe and reverence and with that misconception of self. To clear that, no, they already realized intimate, sweet, delightful relation. So they also do deity worship, but with different mood, with intimate mood, they also do. So Parangurudev, he called Nayananath because the Manjari name of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur is Nayanmoni Manjari. Nayanmoni means this black in the eye, in the center of the eye. So something very essential or very important. So in Bangla they use this as in many cases. So Nayanmoni Manjari, very dear to Radharani. Radharani is always seeing her. You will find some description is there in Prabhupada, one letter he wrote. So Parangurudev realized the eternal Swarup of Prabhupada. So first he was preaching in Assam on the order of Prabhupada. So there he established Radha Nayanananda in Guwahati and Radha Nayan Mohan in Tezpur, Gauriya Math, and Radha Nayananath in Calcutta. there are two meanings. One is outward meaning is Nayananath, master of the eye, because Krishna is Hrishikesh, master of all the senses, so all the senses should be engaged in his service. Eye is one sense, so he is Nayananath, master of the eyes. Our eyes should be engaged for his service, taking his darshan with devotion. Nayananath. And Nayan Mohan, one who will enchant the eye, that is Krishna. And Nayanananda, one who will give pleasure to the eye, Nayanananda. And the internal meaning is the Nath, master of Nayan Muni Manjari, is Nayananath. Krishna, who is the master of Nayan Muni Manjari, Prabhupada, in Leela. Radha, Nayananath. And Radha Nayan Mohan, Radha Nayanananda. And then when they recovered that birthplace of Prabhupada in Puri, then deities there were installed, Shri Shri Guru Gauranga, Radha Nayan Muni, directly the name of Prabhupada. Krishna is Nayan Muni of Radharani. That very essential. So in this way, and also enter that Manjari name of Prabhupada. And Pusya Abhishek Yatra, I told before, Krishna is, devotees, they will bath him with flowers, Abhishek with flowers. And here we are hearing about the prayers of Bhishma Dev, who is about to disappear from this world, and now he already gave all responsibility to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He gave him all knowledge, how he should rule, and how he should take care of everything, devotees and everything. So now he fully fixed his mind on Krishna and is offering his prayers to him. Yesterday we heard Shri Krishna is the intimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the Tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face, covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp, be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. Yudhi Turaga Rajo Vidhumra Vishwak Kacha Lulita Shramvari Alankritasya Mama Nishita Sharair Vibidhyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavaches to Krishna Atma. On the battlefield, where Shri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Shri Krishna. Let me see what is the meaning of Ashen. Ashen. Persons of a person's face, very pale with shock, fear or illness. This is one meaning. And literary means of or resembling ashes. The ashen color of the landscape. Yes, so here the second meaning is applied. Flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses, so resembling like ashes. That is. Sapadhi, it appears that Bhishma Dev is repenting the actions he committed against the person of the Lord, but factually the Lord's body was not at all pained due to his transcendental existence. His body is not matter. Both he himself and his body are complete spiritual identity. Therefore, Bhishma Deva's piercing of the body of Lord Krishna is a sort of bewildering problem for the non-devotee atheist, but those who are devotees or liberated souls are not bewildered. Yes. It is to bewilder the atheists. They will think Krishna is ordinary human being, but devotees, they know it is his lila. Sapadhi Sakhi Vacho Nishamya Madhye Nija Parayor Balayo Ratam Niveshya Stita Vati Para Saini Kayur Akshna Hritavati Partha Sakya Ratir Mamastu. In obedience to the command of his friend, Lord Shri Krishna entered the arena of the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana, and while there, he shortened the lifespans of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. So all were liberated actually by the grace of Krishna at that time. Vyavahita pritana mukham nirikshya swajana vadat vimukhasya dosha buddhya kumatim akharat atma vidyayash charanaratik paramasya tasya me stu. When Arjuna was seemingly polluted by ignorance upon observing the soldiers and commanders before him on the battlefield, the Lord eradicated his ignorance by delivering transcendental knowledge. May his lotus feet always remain the object of my attraction. That was by Jogamaya. Arjuna was playing that pastime of being bewildered so that we can get the teaching of transcendental knowledge, and that we should follow our dharma in all circumstances. Externally means following this varna, ashram, and dharma, but actually to follow our nitya dharma or jaiva dharma, that is, we have to serve Krishna. We are his eternal servants. So ultimately Arjuna means Krishna told to Arjuna, you give up all these relative dharmas. Sarva dharmam parityaja, you give up. You are not of this world. You belong to me. Mam ekam sharanam braja, you surrender to me. And if you think you will commit some sin because of that, by giving up other dharmas, don't worry. I will rescue you from all sins. So in this way, Arjuna's bewilderment was removed and he was ready to follow the order of Krishna, which is beneficial for all involved, for eternal welfare. Svanigamam apahaya mat pratigyam ritam adikartum avapluto ratastah drita rata charano vyaya chaladgur harir iva hantum ibham gato tariyah. Fulfilling my desire and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the way. Krishna promised he will not raise any weapon in Kurukshetra war. He will be neutral, but they may choose. They may select to get Krishna's army or get Krishna. So Duryodhana chose Krishna's army, but Arjuna chose Krishna. That is intelligent. So, but Krishna broke his promise. In this case, Bhishma intentionally did something that Krishna had to do this. Yes. Yes. In the next day's fighting, Bhishma fought so violently that both Arjuna and Krishna were in trouble. Arjuna was almost defeated. The situation was so tense that he was about to be killed by Bhishma the very next moment. At that time, Lord Krishna wanted to please his devotee, Bhishma, by keeping Bhishma's promise, because he promised to Duryodhana, tomorrow I will make Krishna take the weapon. That was before. So Krishna wanted to fulfill the promise of Bhishma and also to protect Arjuna, so he did this. Bhishma, by keeping Bhishma's promise, which was more important than his own, seemingly he broke his own promise. But to protect Arjuna, he got down from the chariot, took up the wheel of the chariot, and hurriedly rushed at Bhishma in an angry mood, as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He dropped his covering cloth on the way, and out of great anger, he did not know he had dropped it. Bhishma at once gave up his weapons and stood to be killed by Krishna, his beloved Lord. The fighting of the day was thus ended at that very moment, and Arjuna was saved. Of course, there was no possibility of Arjuna's death because the Lord himself was on the chariot, but because Bhishma wanted to see Lord Krishna take up some weapon to save his friend, the Lord created this situation, making Arjuna's death imminent. He stood before Bhishma to show him that his promise was fulfilled and that he had taken up the wheel. That is why, but people outside, they cannot understand. They only see Krishna broke his promise. But he made something which ordinary people cannot understand to satisfy his devotee. So for this reason, Krishna told in Gita to Arjuna, you should declare that my devotee will never be destroyed. Because if I say, then people may believe or not believe. Because sometimes, according to them, I break my promise. But you never break your word. So you have to declare this, so it is more firm. Because of this reason here. And at that moment, there was a sunset, so fighting was ended for that day. They would not fight during night time. And during night time, the Pandavas, they could enter into Kauravas' camp without any problem. They would walk there and even speak with them or anything. And Kauravas soldiers side, they can enter into Pandavas' camp without any fear. Because in those days, Kshatriyas were like that. They followed some principles. So they would freely move. But on the next day, again they will fight. And again, when the time is over, again they can speak to each other and go to each other like this. And no fear that someone will, behind the back, he will do something. No. They were Kshatriyas. But nowadays, they're doing all no principles, all kinds of ways they're using to defeat, with cheating and nighttime and this and anything, and all immoral activity, everything. No principles in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is black age. Everything is degraded, so much corruption, so much sins, so much suffering because of sins, and also food shortage is there, mentioned in Shastra. Everything, and health is bad. This is welcome to the Kali Yuga. We cannot change this. It will go on and it will become worse and worse. It is meant like that, this Kali Yuga. But there is one great quality in Kali Yuga, that one can get ultimate goal of life by Hari Kirtan, by chanting the glories of Krishna, chanting his name, fame, everything. By this, one can be rescued from all these faults, even in this world, and ultimately he can enter in Golok Vrindavan. But we have to do sincerely from the heart, not with any other desires. Sincerely, if we call Krishna his avatar in the form of name, so he can rescue us. But we have to really take shelter. So because of this quality, even demigods, they want to be born in this world, in this Kali Yuga, and people of other yugas, they want to be born because it is so easy to get ultimate goal of life by this chanting. So seriously we have to do it, then we can be rescued from the influence of Kali Yuga and get ultimate goal, pure bliss. Tomorrow we are having program here with devotees, so tomorrow there will be no Skype. We will continue on Sunday.